Um, First seeing Sonic SatAM and my first impressions were, that this was, for a show basically where the protagonists were, um, anamorphic characters. It was really dark. At that time, it was more dark and dramatic than I think any show at that time. The only show I think they can match up with that was SWAT Cats, and that was it. Um, but any other show wasn't that dark. In fact, heck, when I take a look at the previous video game adaptations that Dick Entertainment did, Captain N, um, the Super Mario Brother cartoons from the original to 3 to World to All Stars, you know, from the from all that, from even Zelda, none of them, in my honest opinion, could match up to how dark this series was. I mean, your first impression when you see it is like, oh, it's just anamorphic characters. It's going to be cutesy wootsy. It's going to be completely harmless. But I think a lot of people, in fact, nostalgia critic Doug Walker, you look at the show and you compare it to the other Sonic show that came on at the time, and it's like, what a huge difference. Even if you compare it to the original, like I say, Super Mario Brothers show, it's like, what a huge difference. You didn't have you didn't have many, as far as I saw it, you didn't have many animation mistakes, as far as I knew. And it was just, to me, it really set the tone as to what a video game cartoon is supposed to be about, or supposed to be like. So, yeah, my first impressions were were vastly exceeded, because I'm pretty sure that's what Dig and Sega and ABC were hoping for the expectations for the characters for the show and the characters itself to exceed their expectations, and it did just that. It did just that. In a sense, it did just that. I'm sure when you look at the pilot, ironically, the pilot was like the last episode of the first season to be aired. Instead of being the first one, it was the last one. When you take a look at the pilot, you kind of think, oh, it is going to kind of like be the syndicated version. It's going to be comedic and all that. And now you take a look on YouTube, and someone had shared and uploaded a video from, I think it was the 93 CES convention or something like that. And here you had a prototype or a protoform of the original intro, of the intro that I think they were going to use for the pilot if they had gone in that direction. But that wasn't the case. And a lot of people, when they saw that intro, have downloaded it and uploaded it themselves. Like, for myself, for example, I've downloaded and uploaded it myself. And I've put it on there. Tails channel, Matt, who's working on Season, along with Laura and Paul and just about it, Jeremiah, Jeremy, whatever his name is. He uploaded it as well on his channel because it's something that you didn't think you'd ever see. And as far as the pilot goes, it was a great blend of what SatAM was, of what Adventures was, and it was a great blend. It was funny, it was action, it was great. And you sort of had that idea that that's what they wanted to do, but whoever came in and said, you know what, we cannot make it as comedic. It's like whoever came in and said, yeah, we can have humor, but we got to make it more action adventure related. We got to make it more, put the emphasis more on the action and the adventure than the humor. Basically, put the emphasis more on the story than on the humor. And I think they made a great decision in doing so. I mean, yeah, you still had humor in there. You still had the characters with their humorous moments. And, but the main focus was the story as well as the action adventure involved in that story. And the writing, you know, what more can I say about it? And what more can anybody say about it? I mean, I remember the very first episode. I've said this constant times. You know, I've said this a constant amount of times. The first episode made me truly believe that that whole season was going to be dedicated to Sonic trying to save Sally and Bunny from Robotnik's control, but thankfully that wasn't the case. And again, my first impressions were exactly what ABC, Dick, and Sega wanted. They were highly exceeded, and I first started seeing it, honestly, when I lived in Kansas. So, and even though I kept watch with it, you know, I couldn't watch it as much as I could when I moved back to California and lived with my grandparents, because it came on in the early morning. I shared a bedroom with my family, so it wasn't really easy. And you couldn't really sneak out into the living room or into the bedroom, well, not bedroom, but living room or kitchen to watch it, because then that would wake up my grandparents. So, but as soon as I moved back out to Kansas, I used that summer that I was there to record and catch up with the season. So, with season 1. So, it came full circle, but my first impressions were highly exceeded. Were basically what ABC and Dick and Sega wanted. They were highly exceeded. And the first time I saw it, like I said, when I was in Kansas in 1993.